Hey guys, so I wanted to go ahead and tell you about our night that we found out that we were pregnant. So like I told you before in the previous video, I was on the Nuvaring, and that's kind of like the packaging that it comes in. It was sorry, I don't think you could see that, but it was very good. Like I didn't really have any issues with it until, like I said, I started having breakthrough bleeding, which now we know, was because I was pregnant and not because it was just like irritating my cervix. But it's just a little ring. You insert it in your vagina and you can take it out while you have sex, or you can leave it in. I kind of, since I knew when my periods were coming, I tried to, take it out and leave it out all night long when I knew that we were going to be having sex. So, it's kind of what I did. Like I said, I started it in the end of September, took it all of November, had a normal period in November. I took it until like the 15th of November, and I was supposed to start my period like around that time. Well, the week before, around that time I was supposed to. And the week before I was supposed to start, I had a little bit of breakthrough bleeding, just kind of spotting, and it was just for one day, and then it went away. And then the next week when I was supposed to start my period, I spotted for a day, but my period never came. And my doctor suspected maybe you might be pregnant, but, obviously she doesn't want to put that notion in your head, when you're on birth control. So she basically was like, just stop using it and we'll try and put you on something else. So, I was totally okay with that. I really liked it. So, I was a little bummed about that. But, anyways, so I didn't have a period in November, just the spotting. And then in December, I didn't have a period at all. I was sick as a dog in December. Like, it was bad. I was throwing up. I had bronchitis, had sinusitis. The flu was going on. It was just horrible. I literally didn't feel like getting out of bed in the morning. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what the hell is going on? So, I was like, okay, I'm not going to, I'm just going to lay here and, I'm going to go to the doctor and I'm going to try to take some medicine and get this straightened out. Well, my regular doctor that I go to, he couldn't see me because he was booked. I mean, everyone was sick. It's December. And so I had to see like someone else, like at a different medical building, like a completely different doctor, different center, everything, because everyone was booked. So I go in to see him. He gives me like a breathing treatment. He gives me steroid shots. He's giving me like all these antibiotics, and like we never talked about, well, when was your last period, But I mean, I was so sick. I was like, I'm surprised I even made it to the doctor. Like normally my husband drives me everywhere, and I was like death driving, no joke. But anyway, so I finally get there, and he gives me all the stuff, and then like a week or two later, I'm still trying to take this medicine that he's gave me, and I can't take it because like it's literally just making me sick at my stomach. And I know we went to Walmart like a couple times, and I felt like I was just going to pass out. And I'm like, I don't understand, and I chalked it up to, well, it's because I'm not really taking the medication like I should because it's making me sick. And so I called that doctor and I was like, is there something else I can take? Because it's like absolutely killing my stomach. Like, it's just upset, Little did I know that I was pregnant, and that's why. So anyways, he was like, yeah, I can call you on something else, And, so we go to Walmart and we're like, buying wine and buying beer because it's New Year's Eve, and we're thinking we're going to celebrate and have a good time. And I was in line and I wasn't feeling good. Like my lower back was hurting. I felt like I was going to pass out. And I was like, I got to go to the restroom because I felt like, you know, I had to go pee. So I went to the bathroom and I just didn't feel normal. And when I came back, my husband's like, you know, we were in the line in Walmart. It was like taking forever. He's like, we really need to get you a test. And so we literally like got out of line, went and got a pregnancy test. And I was like, I'm not pregnant. Like, there's no way. Like, I was only on it for like a minute, you know, like it didn't even give time for the hormones to get into my system. At least that's what I thought. Well, so we get the test. We come home. I'm about to die to pee again. My husband's getting the groceries out. I go to the bathroom. My little foster daughter, you know, she's 2. She follows you to the bathroom everywhere. So I'm sitting there and I pee. And I look over at the pregnancy test and let me see if I can find it because I wrote a date on them. Pretty sure it's this one. Yeah, this was the first one. So this was my test. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see that very well. But anyway, it's like the little plus sign means positive. Anytime I've ever taken a test, like the whole time I was on like Clomid and everything, I would always get the line going straight across, you know, the not pregnant. So I would always know automatically I'm not pregnant. Well, as soon as I pee on the stick, like the vertical line is there, like immediately. And I was flipping out. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm just crying. And I was like, I know this is like the worst thing to say, but I'm like, oh my effing God, we're pregnant. And I'm crying. My foster daughter is crying because she doesn't have a clue as to what is going on. And my husband comes like walking around the corner and he's like, what? No, you are not. And I was like, I am. And I'm like crying and he's like, oh my God, you know? So we're in shock. And like I try like calling my mom and calling my dad. No one answers the phone. I'm like, really? You're not going to answer the phone? So I just take a picture of it and I like text them a picture. And I'm like, you're going to be a grandma and a grandpa. And then we like FaceTime his mom and we're like, that we have their pregnancy test like this. And she's like, where's your brother? You know, talking to my husband because, you know, they're like all the time aggravating her about them, you know, him and his wife being pregnant. And we're like, they're not here. This is ours. And then I'm like crying and she's like, oh, it's for real. And I was like, yeah, I'm really pregnant. And there's like my parents finally contact me back and they're like, are you sure that's positive? It doesn't look positive. And I'm like, don't ruin my happy moment. So then we went back and we took another one like on the same day. And then the next morning I took another one and I was like, if those aren't positive, I don't know what is. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like, I was just flipping out because I couldn't believe that we were pregnant. And like for the longest time in the first trimester, I was just like, is this real? You know, because you try for so, I mean, we tried for 7 years. If you try for so long and then like it never happens and then it just happens, you know, it's kind of crazy. But I think that God obviously had a big hand in that. I also think that the stress of having our foster daughter, like the stress of wanting to have a child, like kind of went away because we took care of her, you know, on a daily basis. So we didn't really have time to think about, well, you know, we got to get pregnant. We got to get pregnant. We got to get pregnant. You know, it kind of took some of the pressure off and it was just God's time, you know? I mean, really, that's what it was. And for anyone out there who is struggling with infertility, or maybe you're not really having an issue with infertility, it's just that you're just not getting pregnant. Like, it will happen. And I hated to hear those people that were like, it'll happen when it happens, you know? But just keep trying, even if it's birth control, because I was so against like going on birth control, you know, to get pregnant. I was like, no. I mean, I had done it before and gotten pregnant, but I was just like, no, I'm I'm not going to do that. Like, you know, I just want it to happen. And anyway, so here we are, and I'm going to do a belly shot because I'll be 22 weeks on Sunday. And today is 21 a week, 5 days. So this is the belly. Let me scoot back so you can see. But yeah. So that is the belly, and it has grown like so much. Like I can't even believe how much it has grown in the past 2 weeks even. But I just wanted to make this video to let you know that things happen, you know. They happen when you least expect them, and don't give up hope because, you know, it's not always in your control as to what's going to happen. And anyways, no, let me tell you this, because that's not like the biggest news. We go to the doctor because we went to my regular doctor. I didn't even go to like an OBGYN. I just went to like my health doctor, and I'm like, you know, because I love him to death, and I'm like, hey, I was like, I'm pregnant, and I've been taking all this medicine because I have bronchitis and sinusitis, and I'm afraid that it, you know, may do something to the baby. Like, I'm flipping out. And he's just like, well, what do you want me to do? You know, he's like, we don't do like normal ultrasounds here, you know? And I was like, you can't even like listen to the heartbeat? I was like, I've had a miscarriage before. I just don't, you know, like, give me some hope, you know? And so, because once I found out I was pregnant, it was just freak out mode. Like, you know, at any point in time, you know, something's going to happen, and it's not going to be a happy moment anymore. And because you can't just accept that it's actually happened, you know. And he ended up like being able to do, it wasn't like a normal ultrasound. You could see them, but you couldn't actually like hear their heartbeat. Like he could see their heartbeat, you know, moving. But I just remember on the way to the doctor, my husband's like, what if we have twins? And I was like, shut up, you know, like, we're not having twins. And I just remember like him being like this on the ultrasound sonographer's shoulder, just like pecking. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like going like very inconspicuously. And I look at my husband, I just squeeze his hand. I was like, oh, OMG, like, this is insane. And she's like, so, yeah, they're 2 heartbeats. They're 2 babies. And my doctor was like thrilled. He's like, I can't believe you're having twins. And I'm just like, what? And we're just crying, and we're happy, but we're shocked. And yeah. So that was the result of God, the Nuvaring, and having a foster child. I truly believe all 3 things like came together and molded these 2 precious girls that we are having. So that I'm going to wrap this video up. That's all that, you know, I'm going to say about our pregnancy as far as now. I'll go into what our first trimester with being pregnant with twins was like. But I appreciate you guys watching, and have a great day. Bye.